The Galaxy S26 Ultra is bringing 10 design changes, but the real question is, do they even matter? Let's break them down one by one. Now, let's be honest. Over the past couple of years, Samsung hasn't really shaken up the Ultra's design. Minor tweaks here and there, but nothing huge. This year though, things are different. For the first time in nearly 5 years, Samsung's bringing back the camera island on the back. And if it looks familiar, that's because Samsung already tried this design on the Z Fold lineup. And with that comes a familiar problem, the same issue we've already seen on the Z Fold 7. So the big question is, why bring this back now? Well, that ties directly into the second big change: thin phones. For some reason, that's the trend Samsung's chasing these days. Personally, I don't know who asked for this, but Samsung is going thinner again. The S26 Ultra will be about 0.3 millimeters slimmer than the S25 Ultra. And here's the catch: thinner phones mean less room inside, so the camera sensors need more space. The trade-off: the camera bump is almost twice as big as last year's. Yeah, that's a serious change. Now personally, I wouldn't mind if Samsung kept the phone a little thicker just to avoid this massive bump. But I'll throw it back to you. Which design would you prefer? That bigger bump won't feel great when it's lying flat on a table. But what about in your hand? Remember the boxy design of the S24 Ultra? A lot of us loved it because it stood out and gave the Ultra its own identity in a crowded market. But then came the S25 Ultra, and Samsung softened the edges, more rounded, less aggressive. And now with the S26 Ultra, the corners are going to be even rounder. In fact, the whole S26 family will share the exact same corner design. Now, I didn't see a ton of complaints about the S25 Ultra, but Samsung seems to think those edges were a little sharp. So the S26 Ultra edges are a little rounder, but don't worry, it's still clearly a Galaxy, not drifting into iPhone territory. And as for the weight, pretty much the same as last year. So in your pocket or your hand, it probably won't feel all that different. A while back, reports claimed that Samsung would slim down the S25 Ultra's already thin bezels even further, which would have caused a tiny display bump. But based on the latest renders, the bezels look basically unchanged. What is changing though is the size of the phone itself. The S26 Ultra will be about 0.6 millimeters taller and 0.3 millimeters wider. So yeah, overall, expect a tiny display bump over the S25 Ultra. Oh, and the screen is getting the 3rd generation of Samsung's anti-reflective coating. Always nice to see. And now let's get to something a lot of us were nervous about: the S Pen. After Samsung cut Bluetooth features on the S25 Ultra and completely dropped S Pen support on the Z Fold 7, a lot of people were worried about the S26 Ultra. Good news though, renders confirm the S Pen is sticking around for another year. So yeah, the S26 Ultra is shaping up to be one of the biggest design overhauls Samsung's done in years. And the most noticeable one, that massive camera bump on the back. But honestly, what's the point if these changes don't actually mean anything? Because Samsung might have just handed Apple a win here. Click right here to check it out in full detail. This is Techtics, and I'll see you there.